I love hockey, Canadian whiskey, Tim Hortons, and Canadian Tire.
The maple leaf, our flag, hockey, maple syrup, Tim Hortons, moose, beavers, curling, snow, winter, and everything else about Canada.
I love Canada because I love playing hockey here, and other countries that you don't always get those opportunities.
I was born here. Canada is a beautiful country to live in.
Wide open space, wilderness, how big it is in a nutshell.
My family. That's what other countries don't have, and that's why I love Canada, because I get to be here with my family.
It's the greatest country in the world.
I wouldn't live anywhere else but in Canada.
It's the best country ever, and there's no Trump.
I am a Canadian by choice. I wasn't born here, and Canada has accepted me and all my foibles, and pretty much no questions asked. It's like that for most people that come here.
The natural geography is amazing. The people are amazing. We're welcoming, we're open, we're fun. So it's a great country.
I love the fact that women in Canada are somewhat created equally, that they are free, that they can walk around safely, and that they have a voice and can be heard.
The best thing about Canada for me is the choices that I have, the freedom that I have to travel, to speak my mind, to get together with friends as I see fit, to join organizations, to the right to vote, the right not to vote too, I guess. Just the freedoms that we have here are really special.
We have amazing equality for gay rights, and we have beautiful land. I drove across Canada and it was also beautiful, many things to see. Colorful money that sometimes smells like maple syrup.
Because I feel that I can be who I am and talk about things to other people and have conversations with random strangers. And we have tons of beautiful scenery here and mountains to climb and to go skiing. It's just generally a beautiful place.
I live here, home Canadian. I would defend her if I had to.
I first came to Canada 4 years ago. I love how multi-diverse it is, how Canada just accepts every culture.
We've had people living in what we now call Canada for thousands of years, and I think we're doing a much better job of figuring out where everybody came from, and now that we're all here, how we can make Canada even better.
The freedom is a lot more freedom because I was in Russia. They would watch you and had a lot more freedom in Canada.
Just because I was born here. My dad homesteaded on the prairie when it was known as the Assiniboine, the whole thing. And then in 1905, they divided up to Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba.
I mean, we're so very fortunate, and maybe in our day-to-day lives we forget it, but I love Canada because I have opportunities that other people, my peer group in other parts of the world, would never have. And that's down to us as a country, and work hard, and we give a lot, and we are inclusive and accepting of people. We have still a lot of work to do. So I love Canada because to me Canada is about humility and never giving up and always trying to do better.
is a new and growing country and learning how to be itself still. And I think they had a good foundation to start from, and there's still a long way to go. But Canadians, I think, realize that they're more of a global citizen and more respectful of the rest of the world than maybe some other countries.
What makes Canadians unique in the world is their genetic predisposition to be able to drive and hold a cup of Tim Hortons at the same time.
We have a wide variety of different cultures and ethnicities that live in our country, so that's what makes Canada unique, is that our one country is made up of a lot of people from all over the world.
Probably our character, the politeness, and I think also the multiculturalism that we have. Is quite unique to Canada.
Their language. I mean, everybody says, oh, Canadians speak English, but apparently our English is different from Newfoundland to BC. So it's English, but I don't understand people from Nova Scotia.
Our sense of humor. We make fun of ourselves while also making fun of other people, making fun of Canadians.
We're really nice and we say sorry a lot.
Like, we are like, always say sorry. And
Very, like the policemen, they have cool suits with like the hat and their red suits.
I think Canadians are unique in the world because they're constantly apologizing for everything they do. They say sorry for, oh, I didn't open that door for you. Sorry, I'll do that. I just think that makes Canadians quite nice because we want to do our best for each other who live around here and in other places as well.
That we really do like our coffee.
As you can see, the wide Bigfoot walks through the forest. Oh, come on, Gerald. Now we have to do it all over again.
Justin Trudeau.
Canada has Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who is a man and a feminist.
Rick Mercer. He articulates very well the feelings of many Canadians, I believe, and he makes fun of Canadians. We are known for making fun of ourselves a lot of times. We don't take ourselves too seriously, so I think he is the one export, if you want to call him that is very good representation of Canada.
Maple syrup.
I'm pretty sure other countries have that.
But we make it from trees.
How to be Canadian. First, you make pancakes. Then, you go outside and find your nearest moose. Feed him the pancakes. Make sure to add maple syrup. Then you find your snowshoes and go for a walk in the snow. For some real fun, throw on your skis and go directly to Tim Hortons. Once you get there, order a coffee, make it a dark roast. Then hop on your sled. Go down the mountain. You might fall off, but it's okay, snow is soft. Once you make it to the bottom, make a shot on the net, and go!
Well, the Canada Goose is something that we have that other countries don't have.
Poutine, maybe Nanaimo bars. We started them.
Well, I would say the Northern Lights, but I'm sure there are other countries that have Northern Lights as well. Canada has the most
diversity of geography of any country, other country that I know of. Deserts and mountains and lakes and completely different climates, even though you only travel maybe 30 miles sometimes, it's totally different from where you were.
C'est au Canada qu'on a la plus belle montagne de ski, ça s'appelle Revelstoke, c'est à 1 heure de Salmon Arm, c'est là où il y a le plus haut dénivelé en Amérique du Nord, la plus belle poudreuse, la plus profonde.
We have the North Pole and the entire Commonwealth. Yes, that's it.
It has lots of mountains, glaciers.
Canada, well, besides its diversity of people, it's got lots of room, it's got space, it's got forests, it's got open fields, it's got different regions of climate. It's just a great country. You go to Europe and everything's so tight and cramped in. Here you got room to breathe. I really can't say much more than that. It's just a great place to be.
Stompin' Tom Connors, Maud Barlow, Stephen Lewis.
Timmy's. Tim Hortons.
We have really good coffee here at Tim Hortons. Really good coffee.
Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons.
I know they've got lots of lakes, probably more than any other country. Lots of
We have colored money. Yeah.
Pristine nature with clean water.
We have huge amounts of space. That if you ever need to get lost somewhere and just have a nice quiet breather, you're not very far from huge wilderness, awesome space.
We have so many diverse cultures that were here pre-contact with the indigenous peoples, and that is something that really needs to be celebrated.
We have the toque, and it's not that other countries don't have a toque-like object, they just call them beanies. But in Canada, we call them toques, which is a French word that comes from France but means a chef's hat. And so the difference is that the French and Métis fur traders seem to have used this word as they traveled across our nation, and now we have the toque.
Up in the mountains, we have these teeny tiny little black flies that are hungry for your flesh.
No! No! No!
bilingual.
We have Smarties, which the states do not have.
Water. Lots and lots of water.
Mooses.
Freedom of choice always.
Safety.
I wouldn't think poutine.
Ketchup and all dressed chips.
Me.
Canadian geese.
Well, I don't know if any other country has it. They probably do, since we're such a multicultural world these days. But we are a big conglomeration of people. There's people from every part of the world that get to come here and have their own cultures, but still also be Canadian.
About Canadians, that we're friendly.
We are a tolerant society. We're an inclusive society on the whole. We are a society that looks after one another. And I think that is an image that's recognized in Canada, about Canada, that we're fair, that we get involved.
That they're nice, kind people.
Not all the stereotypes are true. Like, we don't ride around on polar bears.
No, we really like hockey, I guess.
That we don't live in igloos. That we don't say a every end of the sentence, like every.
Not all of us love maple syrup.
That they don't say A after every sentence, A.
That we're the best hockey players.
I think
I think the kindness of the people probably is the most important, and our willingness to help others that are less fortunate than we are. I think probably that's the number one thing.
Canadians, we don't say a lot.
We're artistic, we're kind, we're a wonderful country to live in.
I want the world to know that Canadians are not just peaceful, but very forward-thinking. I want the world to know that Canadians are very friendly, funny, and outgoing.
Canadians are welcoming, that we are peace-loving, and that we are trying to fit into a world where everyone gets along with each other.
Justin Bieber's a good kid, man.
We do have snow, okay? You got us there. And you know what? Sometimes we say A by accident. That's true. But do you see any igloos or polar bears? Because I don't.
That they're welcoming because I'm an immigrant, so I feel welcomed in Canada.
I think Canadians are really how they're portrayed sometimes in a comic way as being very polite. And we are. We are polite people. But we also have the ability to laugh at ourselves, so we can say that, you know, we are polite, but then we do it with a giggle, so.
Canadians invented basketball.
Maple syrup. Yeah, we apologize a lot, and I'm sorry to say that. But don't be tricked. There's a resilience, and there's, again, in that breadth and diversity in the international multicultural scope, and certainly within the multitude of First Nations experience, that what may seem like a kind of soft apologetic approach, it may have more to do with the ability to at the end of the day think in terms like reconciliation and gratitude.
Well, Canada is a country with many great inventors. First of all, we invented the game basketball, and the egg carton was invented in Canada, and another thing was insulin, which is really a great thing. And we didn't invent hockey, but we definitely perfected it.
Oh, here it comes.
What is one thing you want the world to know about Canadians?
We don't live in igloos.
We don't live in igloos.
We don't all live in igloos.
We don't live in igloos.
Well, not all of us anyway.
What I would hope for Canada's future is for the vision that John Ralston Saul had about Canada becoming a fair country, fair to all its people.
I imagine that we'll have more democratic institutions that we can gather behind.
I think we're going to have a lot more people from all over the world come to Canada.
I imagine for Canada's future that Canada becomes more of a leader in the environmental causes, because we have this amazing Indigenous population that could teach us so much about the land we all live on.
What I would like to see for Canada's future is I'd like to see the kind of country that values people's rights above everything else.
I'll confess, the whole idea of celebrating Canada 150 is a huge undertaking, because you can't celebrate without also acknowledging the difficult stuff too, right? So I am really hoping that Canada 150, this moment, allows us a chance to be really, really resolved in our determination that in the future, as we move forward in the future, we are going to figure out what it means to be settler cultures and immigrant cultures and First Nations cultures.
My wish for Canada's future is that all of the recommendations from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission come to fruition.
I would like to imagine that in the future that all the families of the missing and murdered Indigenous women find an answer to where their loved ones went.
I would really love to see some proper changes in terms of the conditions and reserves and the conditions of First Nations people. I don't know the answers to those, but I would like to see the end of poverty in some areas like that.
I would imagine that we're all different races and nationalities can live in one country peacefully, maybe continue having this great healthcare program and hopefully have university programs for our students.
I would like to see Canada with a future that continues to care, and increasingly so, about the environment, that it continues to be accepting of differing opinions while being able to stand up for beliefs that are not harmful to others.
World domination.
World domination?
World domination.
Canada's history hasn't always been rosy in the way we've treated people, Aboriginal people and Japanese, Canadians, and that. It's there's a wide range of people living here. I'm hoping that we become more accepting and learn to kind of live with each other in a better and friendlier way than right now.
I strongly believe there's got to be more collaboration between all people, not only a select few, but people as a whole, because we have more and more people coming in from other countries, and I think we have to learn how to get along together as Canadians. That's what I see in the future, because something's got to be done for our kids and their kids' in the future.
I imagine that the vastness will, of course, remain, but there will be lots of the open spaces. I still see the open spaces out there. Yes, we're going to have the Vancouvers and the Torontos, and that, but there's still going to be this vastness that makes it unique around the world.
Our future is one where we are going to be a more diverse country, and we are going to, I think people are realizing that it's a pretty special place to live, and so I think we are probably going to grow and expand and become even a more recognized nation.
I'd like to see for Canada to become the first country that renounces consumerism, that significantly diminishes the power of corporations over the economy, that reduces inequality between the rich and the poor in the country, that provides for a proper network of social services so that everyone has equal access to high quality health, education, and other social services.
Canada's future. If Trump stays out of it, doesn't try and run us too, as long as he looks after the people south of the border, we'll make it.
Canada becoming the first nation on earth to be completely independent of fossil fuel usage. Something like that. That would be idealistic.
Maybe a few floating cars and
floating cars,
weird buildings and like bubbles that people can walk in and things.
Okay.
Weird like that.
Hope it's good.
That's pretty good.
What would you like to see?
Wowee!
And action.
So I'm here with the guy that started this whole thing. I know, every single time.
Okay, go.
So I'm here with the guy that started this whole thing. What do you have to say for yourself? So I'm here with the guy that started this whole thing. What do you have to say for yourself?
Sorry?
Well, that's very Canadian of you.